In 2017, IAAS, International Association of African Authors and Scholars, was born in Atlanta, in the USA. And we began to coast the entire United States and began to coast across Africa. In 2022, we metamorphosed into a professional development institute, which now brings us to where we now answer IAAAS-PDI, International Association of African Authors and Scholars, Professional Development Institute. Our aspiration and dream is to continue to train, retrain, develop young Africans, precisely. But because we are based in the United States, by law, we are also expected to train Americans the same way. So we still run programs in America, but we have that affinity with African Americans who are our own people. And we have gone further to begin to cross across different parts of Africa. In 2022, we came here for the first time. And we had an amazing time, a great seminar for 2 or 3 days too, I think. And that was interesting. And so we started enthusiasm with the Gambian youth. And that necessitated our interaction. And so we have partnered with a lot of your people. And we are excited to say that Gambians are amazing. Gambian youths are enthusiastic. Gambian youths, I would say, are indeed the future of Africa. That suffices to say that your presence here means a lot to us. If we opened up our doors to this meeting and you didn't show up, then the impact will not be felt. But the fact that you came is a testimony to the fact that, yes, the opportunities abound. And everything that we're going to unleash in these 3 days, as much as we can, as much as time permits us, we will do our best to express them appropriately. So, why IAAS? Because sometimes it's good to understand why you're where you are. We began to see that leadership in Africa has become nothing to write home about. By reason of our privilege, it could have been anyone to have stepped out of the shores of Africa to live, study, and work in America, in Asia. I have traveled across the world, lived in different places, and I have that privilege to understand the workings of different countries, their government, their policies, and now trying to narrow them down to who we are, where we are, and where we want to be. Wherever I find myself, I ask that question: what can I do to make my environment and my country better? In 2006, I moved over to South Africa from Nigeria to study. And while in South Africa, living in Cape Town, I saw the kind of development that was not in Nigeria. And I desired to see if I could move those technology back to Nigeria. That was the much I could do. I didn't have the resources, but at least I began to ask, how can I partner with the company to relocate them into the Nigerian environment? And so we gradually began that process. So why am I saying this? Wherever you find yourself, the most important thing is what you think about yourself and what your expectations are. My dream is to see my motherland today, in a broader term, Africa, become who Africa ought to be. Then my desire was to see Nigeria become greater than it is. But I have transcended beyond Nigeria affairs. Now I look regionally. I look at Africa as a whole. What can I contribute for the growth, for the good, the upliftment, the advancement of Africa? Moving over to the Middle East, I lived and worked in Dubai and Abu Dhabi for a number of years, working for First Homes, selling homes in Dubai. And I began to question, how did they come here? What is the difference? Dubai has opened up her borders to everybody, but we are closing our shores. We are restricting, we are putting laws that hinder trade in Africa. Dubai is opening up her doors for everybody across the world. As long as you can trade, bring them, and they have called it a free trade zone. And they are getting richer, better. Every year you go to Dubai, there is something new. They are developing sporadically. Development. They are developing their people. They are developing their environment. At the same time, they are selling their culture. If you watch clips of people that go to Dubai, you see them trying to wear the Dubaian turban, right? Yeah. They ride on camels, they go to the desert, they want to experience what it feels to be a Dubaian, what it feels to live in Dubai. These are the things I see. They are the things I ponder on. And they are the things I imagine. How can we replicate them in our environment? How can we turn our environment to something great, something better? The Sheikh of Dubai, Amatou, any project that you bring to Dubai as a development project, the first question he asks is, has this been done anywhere in the world? If you say yes, he says, get out. Why? His philosophy is that whatever is in Dubai is the first of its kind. Is the philosophy, is the policy. Today in Dubai you have the first of days, the biggest of days, the longest of days, the tallest building in the world is in Dubai, right? The Burj Khalifa. It's in Dubai you find a snow island in the desert. You know that? Okay. Dubai is a desert, but Dubai has a waterfront. Man-made, transformed an entire landmass, and they ride skies on the sea. Boats run on the desert. Everything is possible, but it comes from your imagination, it comes from your thought process, it comes from your aspiration, it comes from your dream. And that was why when I started, I was talking about not just about dream, but the action applied to that dream. Bottom line, that is leadership. Ability to think, and ability to follow through your thought. Are we together? Only if Africa can stay put and we do the needful, that we become our brother's keeper indeed, that the need of your fellow man becomes paramount, that those we elect to political offices go there indeed as representatives. Because what we see today in Africa is they come to you today because they want to get to office, they cajole you, they drop peanuts, and they get to office and it's done. For the next 8 years, you're your own. When it's time for another election, they come back again. And people say, oh, well, let me grab the one I can grab now. But you grab now and you suffer for the next 8 years, or the number of years the country's system runs. No. We are saying no because we have seen that there are countries where it does not work. If a congressman makes a mistake, the constituency say, we don't want you, we call you back, we recall you. In the midterm elections, they knock you out and you are gone. Where the vote of the people counts and matter. In Africa, we have sold our consciences. Our vote does not matter anymore. And as long as we continue in this trajectory, we will continue to tell these same stories of woe. Will you want your children to go through the same thing that you went through? No. No. I told myself that, and I said, no, I don't want to go through what I'm going through, and I want my children to grow in an environment that is sane. You are part of why I left Nigeria when I did. But that was how I thought at the time. But now I am fighting that same thing that chased me away. Because it's not everyone that may have the opportunity that I had to run. And so if you can't leave the shores, how do you survive? So we need to begin to fight back. Not in carrying guns, not in carrying stones or sticks or whatever, but to develop ourselves to where we understand who we are and the power that we have as a people. And come together and say, we must make this change. The political class will not continue to play on us. Aside those who are already there, now you, because life is a relay. I run, I hand over the baton. When that baton falls in your hands, what will you do with it? Will you continue from where they stopped? Or will you do right by your people? And so why we are here is to show you what is right. How to do it right. When it becomes your turn. Not if, because it's a must be that you will be in the leadership. The faces I see here are potential leaders in this nation and across Africa. When that time comes, will you do the right thing? Do you know the right thing to do? And how to do it? Those are the things we want to bring to you in this meeting. To understand that servant leadership is the hallmark of leadership to the people. Serving the people. You are a servant to the people. That does not make you a slave. Today, Malaysia is one of the highest countries and exporters of palm oil. They have developed their palm oil into various grades. When you see palm oil, you ask yourself, is this palm oil? That's all they have. That's their natural resources right now. But Nigeria, from where they took that palm seed, has abandoned agriculture, has abandoned the palm trees. We ran to oil. We are blessed with crude oil. We abandoned agriculture. Even the crude oil, we could not even develop it. Leadership, mindset. When people have this consumeric mindset and not a productive one, that nature is wasted. And that is the difference between Africa and the rest of the world. The rest of the world is production-oriented. Multiplication and duplication of information and resources. Africa, we are consumers. There is no brand across the world that you won't find in Africa. Even the people who make them don't even use them. But we do. We don't have a productive mindset. And that is our undoing. We borrow more, we borrow to spend, not to invest. That's our problem. Other parts of the world borrow to invest and develop, enhance technology, enhance what is going on. But we borrow to equip politicians, to load their pockets. And the people continually get impoverished. And a handful of the political class feed fat from the pains, the toiling, the suffering of the masses. We are bothered because it is long been here. And the question we ask is, how long shall we continue to wallow in this pain? How long shall we continue to live impoverished in the midst of the plenty that we have as Africans? Everywhere I have been privileged to visit, all I ask is, what is their resources? What has made this country great? And you'll be amazed to know, most countries don't have much, but the little that they have developed them, capitalized on them, improved on them, and are utilizing them for their people. Today, I'm an American, and my President Trump will say, Americans first. Times have changed. Things have turned around. What they want is America for Americans. American resources for American people. No more handout. If you can't buy your own insurance, government provides a cheaper insurance which they call Medicaid. For older people who are old seniors, they provide Medicare. What does that mean? As long as you are a citizen and you live in that country, you are covered health-wise. You don't need to look for money to go to the hospital. All you need is your insurance card. Book your appointment, step into the hospital, drop your card, and you get all the medical attention that you can find. If you have to do surgery, depends on what insurance you have, because the insurances are in classes. If you have a co-pay, then you pay a little amount, and the insurance takes care of the rest. But first, they will make every effort to save your life. In Africa, it is pay as you go. Pay before service. No. Am I communicating? Yes. I'm telling you because I feel the same. I feel so bad about it. I was in Nigeria a few weeks ago. My mom turned 80, so I came back to celebrate her on the 16th. And I flew back on the 20th. I left on the 19th, arrived in New York on the 20th. I just practically got home when I got a call back from Nigeria. Hey brother, mom is sick. I said, what's going on? We're rushing her to the hospital. Why? I left her a few days ago and she was sound. But she's sick. Oh, they did 150,000 to pay as deposit. I said, pay. Oh, the diagnosis says she has to do surgery. How? But that's the reality. How much? He said 1.5 million. I said, okay, I transferred. Now, and I began to ask myself, thank God I could afford it. What about for those who cannot? They will say, okay, let me run and go and look for money, right? And the process of trying to find the money, you meet this one. Ah, I wish I had. I would have loved to give you. Oh, okay, let me see what I can do. In the process, the person dies. Many of us here could tell that story. You might have been in that situation. Your heart bleeds. You desire to save a soul, but you lacked the wherewithal, you lacked the resources, you lacked the manpower, and the person dies on you, and you continue to live a life of regret and pain. Only if I had money, my mother, my father, my brother, my sister would not have died. True. I hear those stories every day. The doctors kept a nurse stand by with my mother. A doctor would see my mother every 10 minutes. Why? Because I could afford it. But in the West, it's not so. The same hospital that President Trump goes in to take medical, I can get in there. There is no barrier. Today, in Africa, our presence, our politicians fall ill and they run abroad. But in the West, they fall sick, they stay there, and they get treated there. And the question is, for how long shall we continue like this? The brain drain has been exponential. Every day, Africans are, in Nigeria we call it Japan, they are Japaning. They are moving away in droves. Every day, people are running. Some going through the wrong route, and we are losing young Africans in the Mediterranean Sea. I was working as a consultant, and we were trying to make some changes to Nigeria's economy. See how we could push the system to move from an oil-dependent economy to a multi-duplicated and diversified economy. And so we began to look into other areas. In oil, we have gas. Gas is gradually being developed, but still at a very slow pace. And then we look at solid minerals. And that was where the shock came. It was shocking to discover that each of the 774 local governments, each had at least one solid mineral deposited under their soil. What does that say to you? So at least there is 774 diverse solid minerals buried under the shores of Nigeria. Yet, none of them is developed. None of them has been exploited. So Nigeria is so rich and so poor. Rich in terms of the blessings of God, and poor in terms of our leadership ability to excavate, exploit these blessings. The same story goes for other countries in Africa. There is nothing you want in this world that is not buried in one region of Africa. Ask yourself, why is the West blatantly infiltrating, trying to hold on to Africa? Because of what we have. Unfortunately, we don't even know how to utilize what we have for our good. And we are busy giving them access to exploit our resources for little or nothing. Today, the Congo is in turmoil, right?
Yeah.
Why? Because of the blessings in their soil. In spite of the fighting, aircraft flying in every night, airlift and go away. They create crisis for you. You fight each other, and they are busy stealing from you. They equip you with ammunition to keep fighting yourselves, and they are busy digging up your resources. In Nigeria, there's a slang we say, brain up. Africa, it's time for us to what? Brain up. And that braining up is in your hands. It's in the hand of you young folks. If you don't make that change, nobody's going to make that change. If you don't make the change in your own time, nobody will make that change. And that is why we've taken upon ourselves to bring these truths to you. What you do with these truths is your call. But our earnest prayer is that you embrace this truth, research this truth, understand this truth, and work with this truth.
My name is Ceesay. I am a member of the Young Writers Association of the Gambia, and thank you very much for coming today. Today the theme of the leadership training is resetting Africa's leadership mindset, which is learning leadership skill first before leadership position. I would like to greet Mr. Chinedum Igwe, who is the Executive Director of the International Association of African Authors and Scholars Professional Development Institute, Dr. Charles Uti, who is the General Secretary, Dr. Franklin Obiago, who is yet to arrive but will be with us soon. I would like to welcome Honorable Sambaba, the Lady Councillor Kadi Sanyang, and of course the President of the Young Writers Association of the Gambia, Keba S. Joara, and everyone around here. Africa's future leaders are already here, and the question is, where are they? They are already here with us. And I'll ask again the same question, where are they? Africa's leaders are here. They are with us in the Gambia. So I want you to tell me where you think they are. They are in the Gambia, but in what place exactly are they?
Right in this place.
Right in this place. Are they the ones from the college? The universities? And where? Everywhere. Okay, African leaders, Gambian leaders, African leaders are already with us, but they are in our classroom. The question is, are we preparing them to follow or to lead? Yes, I accept. They are in the college, in the universities, but they are in the classroom, starting from day one of education, which is the nursery level. So today I will be speaking on raising young leaders when it comes to education, but I also brought in it to talk about culture, because Charles spoke about something very important. He talked about culture. We have very important, intelligent people in the Gambia here, Africa, everywhere, but the thing is that we've mistaken them for the wrong places. We think our leaders are from the universities. We think our leaders are in the college. But no, the people that we neglected and think that they cannot do anything, the young people, that is where leadership begins, in the classroom, starting from day one in the nursery school. When our education sector is good, I believe education in Africa is not good. Leadership in Africa will not be a problem, because education is key in everything we do. And it is through education that we provide, we teach leaders, not only education in the classroom, but also education at home, in the community level, and everywhere else. I hope you are getting my point. Because right now, let's talk about Gambia, which is the smiling coast of Africa. Our education system is called the factory model education system. That was here 150 years ago. And up to now, we are still operating on the same education system. So if we are now to groom up leaders that will help Africa to go forward, are you sure with that factory model education system, things will work? It will never work. Right now, 150 years ago, if you go to a Gambian classroom, the way we are sitting is how everybody is seated. The almighty teacher will be standing and facing the students. And up to now, any school that you go is the same setting. What has changed? Nothing has changed, right? Good. 150 years ago, people were using blackboards and chalk. Up to now, in my school, in your school, in our school, the same is there, yes or no? Yes, no changes. Good. 150 years ago, we have what we call the cells and bells model, where classrooms are like prison cells. People will come inside a classroom. When the bell say clean, they go out. When the bell say clean, they come in. And up to now, the same system is going on. With that, are we going to groom leaders in Africa? So the factory model education system is still going on. If we wanted to change Africa, if we wanted to change the leadership mindset of the people, it has to start from the classroom, from nursery one, because the kids that we think they are not intelligent, they are the most important people in every school that you go to. They might be young, but that age, if they have the mentality, positive thinking, they will be leaders that we will be proud of tomorrow. Maybe people like myself or you, we do not have those chances when we were young, because they felt like we are young people, we cannot learn anything. So the wrong mentality that we grew up with, today if we are to serve as leaders, of course we are going to bring corruption, we are going to bring problem. But at an early age, if you teach them about leadership, not only to pass examination or to have the university marks or college marks, of course when they reach our age, then things will be very easy. Yes or no? But in the Gambia, so they may someone in nursery school, teach them about leadership, they will say you are crazy. They cannot do anything. That is what people will say. All of us are crazy. How can a young person like that learn about leadership? But everything starts in the beginning. We cannot wait only until secondary school. In secondary school, the damage will have already been done. So if we wanted to reset Africa's leadership mindset, we have to start with education, and we are in the classroom from nursery level, so that they will grow up with the knowledge, having the positive mentality. So mindset over memorization. Leadership begins when we teach courage, not just content. Exams don't build leaders. Examination don't build leaders. You might give me a paper here, I'll fail it. Franklin sent something in our group chat. Many people didn't do it. It doesn't mean they cannot do it. I hope you understand. But maybe at that point they did not understand it. So it means only the ones that pass it, we might consider as good people who are able to do it. I hope you understand. So examination doesn't determine leaders. STEAM is the new compass. STEAM isn't just academic, it's how we build leaders who can think, feel, and act. Skills for the real world. Communication, collaboration, creativity. These are the tools of that 21st century leadership. Every child counts. Leadership is not about age or privilege. It's about opportunity. So no child should be left behind. Teachers should save nations. In the Gambia, if you say, I want to be a teacher, people will laugh at you. They think you are crazy. But those teachers are the ones that we believe should teach leaders from the classroom so that they'll be people who can promote things in the society, right? You're not a teacher. Oh, I'm not teacher. You are already a teacher. Where are the teachers? Raise your hands up. You see? Clap for yourselves. You can see. So here, this alone is motivating to show that yes, leadership begins with education. We're in the classroom, and it is the teachers who have to create or build up those leaders that will come from an early age. So storytelling builds identity. When we teach young Africans to tell their own stories, we give them voice, pride, and power, and that now takes us back to our cultural heritage. Storytelling is part of our intangible cultural heritage in the Gambia and Africa. If I ask you to tell me the elements of our intangible cultural heritage in the Gambia, who can raise their hands up here? Na adol mungyalong ko iba fuduri na sondo mo la kaje hakilo ka tamandi. Who can help me with that? Suñ aada yi nga xamne hel ak xol moko doxal waye bot du ko gis. For example, can I see the dancing? I can see you dancing, but Sahel Bojel dancing, can I see that? When I ask you to cook, you can cook, but the skills you use in that cooking, can I see it from your mind? I hope you understand. Ada yinga hamne, loho du ko muna laal, why hell ak xol moko doxal. So most of us don't even know our intangible cultural heritages, and they are very important. Only those things can help us to build leaders in Africa. For example, look at the Wulakono Duto. How many of you know it? I think it's Ndimba. Ndimba. Good. Wulakono Duto can help cure ulcer and many of the illnesses. But if we do not transmit that knowledge to the younger generation, how can we build leaders that will be centered on medical, on the health sector or others? Charles was talking about development. We have development in Africa here, but we are not aware because we are not concentrating on our culture. Westernization and globalization is the problem here. If we wanted to build leaders in Africa who will bring development, then we have to know our roots. We need to know our culture. Knowing our intangible cultural heritages alone can develop Africa, and even make the other people come to Africa to search for knowledge. Because most of the things that they are using for treatment and other things, you will find them here, but we don't know their values. So if we wanted to promote leadership in Africa, then we must learn to know about our culture and be very positive in education and have that mindset. Girls lead too. Empowering girls isn't optional. It's essential. African leadership must be inclusive. And I'm very happy in this hall we have inclusiveness. Okay, leadership is a daily lesson. We don't teach leadership once, we build it every day in every subject, in every student. Leadership isn't about passing examination or a month teaching people. It's continuous process, learning as time goes on. So the more time with them, the more you will have the knowledge and see changes, things happening. Now we are in the 21st century. We don't need to go back. I hope you understand. When it comes to education system, but when it comes to our culture, we must go back to know about the cultural heritage so that we can help develop Africa. It's so sad that other people from the Western world will come to the Gambia, learn about our things, take it there again, new manufacture, and we are very proud to say we are behind them. Look at Wonjo and Vimto. The only difference is, well, gas break, that is the only difference. The packaging is the only difference. But Wonjo Punyam in the Gambia has more nutrition value than Vimto. We all know it. More open nutrition value, but we don't know it's important. So leadership has to start with us knowing about things that we have and trying to embrace it as well. Real life example. Let's talk about Mr. Chinedum Igwe. Let me share a story. Chinedum Igwe is a Nigerian-born educator and author who believes leadership begins with learning and that Africa must have its own story. He founded the International Association of African Authors and Scholars to give African thinkers a platform to mentor youth, shape policy, and reclaim our narratives. When he visited the Gambia in 2022, he didn't come to lecture. He came to listen, collaborate, and uplift. He met the Gambian writers, educators, and leaders to promote youth empowerment through literature and scholarship. His work reminds us that education is not just about facts. It's about identity, voice, and vision. And we teach young Africans to think critically and speak boldly. We reset the leadership mindset of an entire continent. This is Mr. Chinedum Igwe, who is part of the reasons why we are here today. If you see Charles and the others leaving United States of America, coming back here because they have seen what is there, and they believe if we reset our leadership mindset a little bit, then we can compete. Look at our education system, as I said. I will only focus on that. The Gambia deserves a world-class education system. But if you tell them, the Gambians, do you know the excuses that they will say? We cannot have a world-class education system like UK or other countries. Do you know why? Because we are a small country. We don't have adequate resources. We don't have this and this. Hey, manage with what we have and you will get it. In the Gambia, all the schools have these chairs, desks and tables. Now in the developed countries, do you know what people do? They have what we call a desk-free classroom, where people will use math and sit, not because they are poor, but because it's more effective. The kids will enjoy, the teachers themselves will be more comfortable. But in the Gambia, go to a school and say, bring the math and ask teachers to teach. Maybe the teachers themselves will complain and say it's a poor school. No, or the parents will think about that. So we have to go according to 21st century. If we really wanted to develop the education sector of Africa and every other sector. As I say, factory model education system, do we still want to go back into those factory model? They were there for a reason, for the industrialized purpose. Now that era of colonialism is gone. Let's focus on the new generation, 21st century. When we are able to conquer education, we will be able to conquer everything. Because education conquers every pillar of leadership. Whatever that we are fighting for, resetting the Africa's leadership mindset, it is through education that we can be able to achieve everything. If not through education, how will we be able to communicate? That's very difficult. I hope you understand. So if we wanted to reset Africa's leadership mindset, we must start with education and also our cultural identity. So we have, if we want to bold leaders tomorrow, we must think boldly today. Every child we empower is a leader we unleash. Every teacher we support is a nation builder in dialogue. The future isn't waiting, it's learning. Right now, in our classroom, in our communities in the Gambia, so let's reset the mindset, let's raise the leaders, let's build the revolutions. Because it's like all of them are they're gonna wait. I tell you them. Gambia, suñu rew la nañ len taku liggéey mo. Suñu rew la nañ len taku liggéey mo naat. Dekali aada bi ak cosaan bi. Gambia, suñu rew la nañ len taku liggéey mo naat. Dekali aada bi ak cosaan bi. Yen xale yi yen le yen ay lekki magi kele déglu leen ñun magi ñu xelal leen taku leen bay gerte moo xaatu gub maalok bitten nappi leen si géej la réew mi naat soo leen ko defee suñu réew mi dina def kanam bee faw yal na ñu Yàlla taxaw amiin yal na ñu Yàlla taxaw amiin yal na ñu Yàlla taxaw amiin